Hi, this is Karen and welcome to another Flips and Folds on Sunday at dolallycrafts. This is the card we're making today. It doesn't look like much of a flip and fold, and it's not really. It's more of a cutout, as you can see. It's just to add some extra interest to the inside of the card. I'm going to switch this up just a little bit today and make two incisions so that when you open it up you're going to actually see the gap there as well. Now I haven't done the inside of the card here, but I will today. As usual, all measurements can be found on my blog. Now this is an old mint macaron grow grain. It was in the retiring list when not the retiring but the discontinued clearance rack when I bought it. I'm not sure if it's still available, but since mint macaron is back into our colour collection, I'm sure there is another replacement ribbon you can use for this card. Okay, pop all of these to the side for a minute and I'm going to work on the stamping. So I'll bring a scrap of paper in. Okay, and even though I don't like excuse me, even though I don't like this colour because it's too dark a green for me, I'm using Mossy Meadow because it's in this colour suite. This is the Share What You Do, Love What You Do bundle that was released in May as a pre-release. Okay, so like most of the demos, I'm trying to remember which way to open which pad. Okay, so we're going to start with the bunch of flowers, and I better move that Grapefruit Grove matting piece out the way because otherwise I will stamp on it. And I'm just going to stamp off to the left on the card, and that's all I need that for, except I'm going to stamp off and then stamp the image just down the bottom here, just for a bit of added interest on the inside. Now, bring that piece back in, and we've got this little feathery piece, and I'm going to stamp off and just stamp this around the flowers. There we go. So that's all we need the Mossy Meadow for. We're going to bring in the Berry Burst and we're going to stamp the thank you just at the top. Just bring it down here so that I can actually have a better idea of whether I'm stamping straight. So we just stamp thank you to the top there, and before we put the Berry Burst away, I'm just giving the top piece a bit of an edge with the Berry Burst. Now that can be put away. And we come in with the early release colour pad, which it's our new in colour, which is the Grapefruit Grove, and as you can see I have stickers all over my ink pad. Okay, and we bring in a little blotchy piece, and I'm going to stamp off for the two lower ones so that we get more of a difference in tone and colour, and then the top one can be that colour. Okay, and that is all of the stamping apart from the inside, which I'll bring the Berry Burst back in, and the inside of the card is going to be stamped with Love What You Do, but instead of doing it at the top, I'm going to just stick it down here. There we go, and that's the inside of the card finished. So we've got our thank you card, and I actually think that looks really nice just as the inside sentiment. Okay, excuse me, I've got a bit of a frog in my throat at the moment. I'm going to pop some of the fast fuse that I'm quickly running out of, and I'm coating it all over the front piece, only because I'm going to be cutting through and I don't want it flapping around. Okay, so we line that up on the front. Now, bring in your Stampin' trimmer, or whichever trimmer you may have, and I'm going to, how am I going to work this? Right, I'm bringing it up to the whole card itself, up to the quarter. No, that's not going to be enough. So the 3/8 mark here, so we've got a 1/8 border, so it's actually a 1/4 inch in from the matting piece. I'm hoping you guys can see that. And I'm going to bring this in the same amount, so in by a 1/4. No, that won't work on that end because it doesn't have the right measurement. So we'll bring it back down here. This is very awkward to do on camera. Okay, so we're bringing it in 3/8 of an inch there and 3/8 of an inch here, and we're going to take it down to 2 1/4 here. Right, and then turn it that way, and once again 3/8 of an inch in, which is there, and 3/8 of an inch there, and take it to 2 1/4. Okay, now to do the same thing down the bottom here, so I'm lining the fold up to the 3/8 inch side there, and then we've got the 3/8 inch there, and take it to 2 1/4, and then okay, 3/8 of an inch again, and I'm doing it to this side, and I'm just going to line these nodules up and then bring them down. Now I've got to be able to measure that by 2 1/4 inches, so that's 4, that comes to 4 3/8 there. So we need to bring it down to 2 3/8 and then add an extra 1/4, so down to 2 5/8 of an inch there. And that is our cuts, and I've just realised it hasn't gone all the way through. Okay. How am I going to do this? I have a craft knife. I hope you do as well. I'm just going to cut down. Yep, that's cut through that. And then down again. Okay. 1, 2, and you can just, it did actually cut through, but not the whole way. I'm going to do the same thing there. Just bring that down. And bring that down, and that should have cut through. Yes, it did. Okay, now I just need, I'm going to do it on the trimmer and hope for the best. I need to line up these 2 cut marks along the trough here, the cutting trough. Okay, so, and then just cut across like so. I've got an almost, see, now that's what I should have done in the first place, was cut from the back, and I wouldn't have had any problem. Now where's my paper snips, because all I need to do, I didn't quite get to the end there, So just trim that bit there, and that's the first piece gone. So we line this up in the trough again. And then cut from one corner to the other. And if you don't quite make it through the corner, you can use your paper snips. That did go most of the way through. Won't be a moment. Okay, hubby was looking for me. Couldn't find me anywhere else in the house and figured this was the only place left. Alright, so we finally gotten our cut out pieces done there. We'll bring in our paper trimmer one more time for now, and I'm going to find the centre of my doily, which I think is there, and just cut that in half. Okay, now these have got the shiny opal look on one side and just plain white on the other, but because I'm working in very vanilla cardstock, I want these to be in the pearl colour so that they stand out a bit. It'd be a bit too much using the Whisper White. It really would be a bit glaring. Now all we need to do is bring in our layering piece and layer our very vanilla on top of our Grapefruit Grove, and then all you do is match up these pieces. So we know we need one piece here, and make sure that you bring it in so that those edges aren't obvious to the other side. See, that looks like it's a full piece on there, and then do the same down this end. Flip this over so that we've got the right side showing out front, and then just simply stick that down. So there you go, you look like you have two doilies there, see? And then they will actually cover the majority of those holes there. Now, before we put this together, oh no, I stuck that on too soon. Hang on, we'll just take that one off. What I need to do is come in, I forgot all about this, come in with my strip of mint macaron ribbon. I think that'll be even. Yep, trim that piece off. There we go. And then what I might do, so that I can still hold this, I'm going to pop some more fast fuse on the back and pop this piece back on, like so. That's it. And then what I might do is actually pop this up where it's got to go. And to do that, I'm going to bring in the edge pieces of my dimensionals. No, that's not going to work. I've got to remember how I did this. What I might do is just stick a piece there, and that was the rest of the edge on that one. And an edge there, and then just stick some dimensionals top and bottom, And that should be enough. Should be enough to hold this other piece in place. Now the reason I'm not sticking the dimensionals to the back of this piece is if I pop it at top, bottom and along the sides, it would show through on there, and we don't want that. So we just find the approximate centre there and press that down. So there's almost the front of our card done. All we're going to do now is just bring in the rest of the mint macaron . Give it a nice tight tug and then trim the edges, and there we go. Our card is finished. Okay, I'll just move all of this rubbish out the way so there's nothing detracting. I'm sorry for the way that this started out. I thought it would be a fairly simple card to make, but obviously unless you've got a craft knife, it might be a bit difficult to do this one. Excuse me, that frog in the back of my throat is really getting to me. If you do have a craft knife, I hope you give this a go. If not, remember to try and cut that part upside down, because if it can go through the cardstock first, the paper layer actually is a lot easier to cut through. I really like the inside of that one. I'm going to repeat it on there, and just before I go, I will quickly, as usual, stamp the back here. And yes, I am using my least favourite colour, but it's a nice dark colour, so it stands out on the back. Okay. That's this week's card, and I hope you come back again for next week's Flips and Folds. Until then, I'll see you later. Bye bye.